Whew, I know that last section was long. Don't worry, the rest of the sections are not that long. But we have multiple things in that last one. But we're continuing on here. Continuing on here in the story, Luke chapter 4, verses 5 through 8. We're looking at the second temptation of Jesus that Satan gave him. Verse 5, it says, "The devil took him up and revealed to him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. 'I will give you the glory of these kingdoms and authority over them,' the devil said, 'because they are mine to give to anyone I please. I will give it all to you if you will worship me.' And Jesus replied, 'The scriptures say, you must worship the Lord your God and serve only him.'" So the second temptation we see that Jesus is given is to believe, that God is withholding from him, right? To shortcut the plan once again. And that's kind of similar. Remember Adam and Eve? It's kind of similar to what Satan did to Adam and Eve there. He made Adam and Eve think God was keeping good things from them, right? He made them think, God knows that if you eat of this fruit, you'll become like him. And he lied to them because they were already like God. They were already like God. God made them in his image. He partnered with them. They were the representation of God on earth. So they were already like God. So Satan lies to them and says, you see, God's holding out on you. You can't trust him. You can't trust him. And Satan's doing a very similar thing to Jesus here. Now, I want you to think about it with me real quick, right? Because Satan is saying, Jesus, I can give you all the authority right now, as long as you shift your allegiance to me from God. And remember, this is something Jesus was on earth to do. He was coming to set up the kingdom that he would be the king of. At the end of his life, we know he says, all authority on heaven and earth has been given to me. That was part of the plan. He knew he was going to get that. But Satan was saying, why not make this easier and just get it from me right now? He knew the plan that God had for him. Jesus knew the plan the Father had for him. And he knew if he went through with that plan, he was going to be given the authority. But Satan is saying, forget God. Forget that plan. I'm going to give you what you desire right now, Jesus. Because I'm in control of the world. You won't have to die on a cross. You want the power? I will give it to you. Just worship me, Jesus. You see, Satan, he wanted Jesus to focus on worldly power and not on God's plan to free the world from sin. Satan tries to get us to question, can you trust God? Is God really on your side? He's holding out from you. Just trust in me, and the things of this world will supply you with all you need. Will satisfy you. Don't listen to God. He's holding out on you. Satan tries to get us to think he has an easy way to get what we want, but usually we never, ever get there. And Jesus didn't try to argue with Satan here. Because Satan said, it's my power to give away. I'm the ruler of the world. And Jesus didn't try to argue with him. He didn't try to reason with him. He just simply, said the commands of God and left it at that. He's like, this is what God commands. You're telling me to go against that? No, this is what God commands. I'm leaving it at that. Jesus knew his kingdom that he was setting up was going to be based on self-sacrifice, not self-exaltation. All right? He knew that if he was going to become the king, that meant he was going to sacrifice, because that's how this new kingdom is. Not, I want to be the top, forget everybody else, grab the top. But the greatest in this kingdom is the least of the kingdom, right? That's how this kingdom is set up. It's upside down. And so we see that Jesus in this moment, he had absolute and reliant trust in God. We see what that looks like. Jesus trusted in God's plan for the fulfillment of what he was there to do. He chose to trust God even when he might not have understood just how God was going to provide. We know it was hard for him. He gets to the Garden of Gethsemane the night before his betrayal, the night of his betrayal, and he's like, God, is there another way? This kind of seems rough. If there's another way, please do it. And then he trusts God. And so we see that there was faith. Jesus had to have faith in the Father in these moments to do what he knew he was here to do. And that's something for us to remember, because I know we all want to be happy. We all want to find satisfaction in life. And a lot of times we will take the shortcuts that Satan is offering us to get it. And rather than trust God's plan and God's will for our lives.